Awesome. Welcome, everyone. We are live on Zoom and IG. Hope you guys are having an awesome last day of 2022. We're going to be live streaming this. If you guys have questions, let me know. We're going to get started very shortly. Just have my Zoom in here. Hey, Dragmeet. Hey, Gibbs. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy New Year. New Year's Eve, anyway. If you guys have questions, how to make money on the DMs, or even your personal development questions, put them in the comments. I'm going to be sharing some stuff I've been learning over the past, say, 10 years on the personal development side, but then also it's going to be what I've been using the past 3 to 4 years, how to make money on the DMs. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. Hey, Thomas. Hey, MA4Ank. And then Vishal's in the room too. What's up? Hit me with a wave if you guys are interested. So yeah, basically, I've been putting this training together. Hey, happy New Year's Eve, my guy. Kevin's in the room. Welcome. I've been putting this training together for a while. I just want to share this with you guys for free. Okay, how to make money into DMs. And then for the people that stay at the very end, I should give you an opportunity on how you can actually make money on the DMs using what I teach today. Implement that right away, even if you don't have a product or service. So those are going to be only for the people that are committed and staying for the whole time. It's going to run about, I'd say maybe 15, 30 minutes for the initial part. Then we're going to go into some live Q&A. I'm going to stay on as long as possible. However, it is New Year's Eve, so I have some plans as well. Little one just woke up, not my kid, for the ones that always wonder, like Zamira, his kid, not my kid. He's my girlfriend's, she is my girlfriend's half sister. So awesome, we're gonna get started. So the first part of making money in the DMs, so this is a new endeavor if you're starting, is you need to understand a couple principles, or what I like to call laws, when it comes to making money online or just in the DMs. So you don't need to use a phone to make calls, but if you have an Instagram, even if you don't have a crazy following, right? Like I only have 3,000 followers. And for some of you guys, that might be a lot. In the grand scheme of things, that's literally nothing. And I'm still able to make a high 6, even 7-figure income using this strategy. So we're going to go cover the 6 laws for the ones at home. And for the ones watching this recording, make sure you take out your notes, pen and paper. You will want to take this down. A little hack that I use whenever I'm learning is on the top of the paper, I'll write down, I paid $10,000 or $5,000 for this training. That brainwashes myself to believe that there's actually skin in the game here. So that's something I suggest for you guys. So you don't get caught in edutainment, in that, hey, you're just getting this education, but you're just entertaining yourself. So that's a little hack, but 6 laws here. Andre's in there. Welcome. Happy New Year's to everyone that just joined. Hit me with the wave if you guys are interested. So first part is going to be these 6 laws or 6 principles to making money in the DMs. First one is that you need to become a master conversationalist. The more conversations you have, the better your conversions are going to be, the more you're going to be able to close, right? So that just means, hey, money is made in the DMs nowadays, right? I always look at Instagram as, well, 1, it's a video game. 2, it's a sales video game, meaning you can actually make money here. And it's not just entertainment. Like, awesome. We all like to enjoy entertainment on Instagram. However, there's a ton of money to be made online, right? So for you guys that have a little bit of time, first part is you got to master conversations. So you got to get really good at conversations in the DMs. And that's also going to translate, hopefully, to conversations in person once you can use these same frameworks. This framework I'm going to share with you later on is exactly what I use if I'm on phone sales or Zoom sales. Okay. Shout out to Patrick. He's lit as fuck. We met in Vietnam. Hey, appreciate you, man. Seriously. So first law is you got to become a master conversationalist in the DMs for this section, right? Next is that speed of implementation is key. You hear me say this all the time, okay? The faster you can implement what you learn, the better and more results you're going to get. Hey, Subhabs1, welcome to the chat. Essentially, once you learn something, so what I teach you here, you want to implement that right away. The people that I surround myself with that are high performers, that are doing way better than I am even, they learn something and they immediately implement it. This does 2 things. Either you fail and you realize, okay, what do I need to get better? Or you win and you get the results, right? But the more you slow this down, the more it's going to get in your way, and you're almost self-sabotaging yourself, right? So what do I mean with speed of implementation? So I'm going to talk about the opposite, right? Let's say you slow everything down. Let's say you want to start a business and you put it off for 5 years. Well, that opportunity cost didn't just cost you 5 years. It cost you 5 years of lessons that you could have been making while actually trying to generate that business income, trying to generate that new endeavor, that new challenge, or that new skill that you're learning. Okay. The cost of time is actually way worse than the cost of money. Money is infinite, right? You hear me talk about this in my financial abundance courses or even in these kind of videos, but money is essentially infinite. Time is not. Like, we have a finite amount of time here on earth, okay? So speed of implementation is key. So it means you learn something, you implement right away. That's going to help speed this learning process up and your results up. The most hard cope thing I've ever heard someone say is, I'm glad I didn't start that business after like 2 years. Okay. Like, why are you happy you didn't start? Like, you could have actually got lessons, right? That's probably like the number one cope thing I've heard this year, is someone like celebrating that they didn't take action. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Right? Like, you're better off just taking action, learning. And if you fail fast, right? That's one of the key principles I use when teaching my high performance students. Next one is continual positive improvement is necessary. Okay. So this is a third law when you're wanting to make money in the DMs, but you want to continually positively improve, right? This journey never ends, in the sense that you're always going to be looking to get better, right? Now, there's some downfalls to that. I can go on a whole rant on how you don't want to get caught up in putting the result on a pedestal and waiting to be happy then, but you still want to continually improve. And that's kind of a paradox. The idea here is that your first iteration, the first product or service that you make might not be the best, right? The first product or service I actually made was doing lawn care. And I quit after, the first, I think it was like 3 weeks. I was sitting there calculating my pay, and I was like, damn, I'm getting paid $5 an hour. Like, this is stupid. Like, why am I doing this? But that taught me to value my time. That taught me to calculate how much of my time is actually being used. How valuable is that? So that helped me the next endeavor. The next endeavor, I reiterated. I was like, hey, no more Patty's lawn care. Let's do a little bit of painting of just window siding and garages. Okay. So I did that. And then I realized, like, cool, now my time is worth $78 an hour, but this is hard labor. I was sitting there in the sun trying to like sand this window siding. It's taking forever. And I was like, hey, like, why don't I take some employees on? So I cut my pay in half. Now I'm getting paid about $37 an hour, but I hired 2 of my friends and paid them $15 an hour. Okay. So they were getting paid way more than minimum wage back then. And we had a blast working together. Now, I also failed in the sense that I learned that I should have kept receipts. I should have put them on payroll, and I should have had those tax advantages. So again, that taught me in the third iteration, have a tax filter. So that's something I use in real estate now. But the idea here is that you're continually improving each and every endeavor. Don't be afraid to fail, because again, you want to combine speed of implementation, that's law number 2, with law number 3, which is continuous positive improvement. Always try to get better, even if you fail. Welcome to everyone in the chat. You guys are awesome. Hope you guys are getting value out of this. We're actually just talking about 6 laws to make money into DMs, and then we're going to give you the framework later. So welcome everyone. I see Marley in the chat. He's awesome. I'm thinking about building an Airbnb business on the property I recently purchased. Any thoughts and suggestions, Pat? Still figuring it out. Awesome. Good idea, especially if you have the time to manage that Airbnb business. If you go look into my profile, you can find Samantha. Send me a DM as well. I'm going to send you her link. She is an Airbnb specialist. She's one of my real estate students, and she actually has her program as well. So that's awesome. I have only done Airbnb for a little bit, but it is more of an active income source than passive. You can get property management in there that is going to help. But yeah, I can go more in depth in the DM. So send me that or look for Samantha on my followers or friends list. She'll be able to help you out even more. Not really my specialty, to be honest. So quick question there. Yeah, if you guys have questions, just put them in the DMs. Sorry, not the DMs, in the comments. Everyone watching this from home on Zoom, same thing, put in the comments. Or if you guys watching the replay, put in the comments. I will help you out with that as much as I can. Yeah. So back to the framework, sorry, the 6 laws. So now law 4 of making money in the DMs is going to be know your KPIs. You want to know your key performance indicators, right? So what are key performance indicators? These are the metrics, these are the data you need to track, that you need to know so that you know you're actually moving forward, right? So for me, I do coaching consulting. I need to essentially know how many coaching calls I'm doing, how many free consultations I'm doing a week, and how many people I'm contacting through, like, again, I'm using Instagram, right? So through social media. Okay, so I need to know how many leads are coming in, how many are actually getting on calls, how many of those people are signing up for my programs, right? So those are some key performance indicators that I'll use, right? For the people that work out, I know a lot of fitness people are also interested in money. Some of your key performance indicators are like, hey, are your lifts, are you lifting more in volume, in strength? Are you lifting like physically more? Are you doing more reps? These are all key performance indicators, and you need to know your numbers, right? I made this mistake in the past when I just freestyling everything, right? I would just think that, hey, I'm offering this awesome service as a real estate coach. People can be interested. Sure. But at the same time, I need to know, focus on my marketing, focus on, hey, how many people am I actually closing, right? So before I actually hired a sales and marketing coach, it's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I was at like a 6.8% close rate, right? So I'd have to do 100 calls to get 6 to 7 people sign up. It's pretty bad, right? And this isn't my first year in business. Like, I've been running small businesses since I was essentially like 17, all these little side hustles, right? I'm 28 now. So I actually hired a sales and marketing coach, and they straight up told me, like, hey, you need to track your numbers. Like, how do you know if you're getting better if you don't track your numbers? Like, how do you know when you need to put a system in if you're not tracking your numbers? Okay, so know your key performance indicators, know your KPIs, and you need to speak this data. You need to be around people that understand this data. You need to be comfortable sharing these numbers. Okay, I like to essentially surround myself with people that are okay talking about this. Like, I have groups where, like, I was just on a call with my friend and Coach John, and we were talking about, like, helping clients make 400 grand a month, helping clients make 250 grand a month, helping clients get to 7 figures, right? If you're around the right people, you're going to be able to talk about those numbers without feeling judged. Okay. If you're not there yet, that's okay. But understand that when you hear numbers like that, don't feel like people think they're better than you, right? This is kind of a paradox. If you want to do a little bit of research, you look at what are the characteristics of high performers, but I won't go into that just yet. But essentially, by knowing your numbers, you'll be able to actually compare yourself with who you were yesterday, right? Everyone has key performance indicators. Everyone has KPIs and what they're trying to do. Gibbs, that's how I felt with life insurance, and I felt pushy with it. Yeah. So I mean, Gibbs, you're a young guy. I was in life insurance in the financial industry when I was like 19. I think 19 or 20, might have been the latest, like 22. I'd have to look at my journals. My brain's a little foggy this morning. But essentially, like, you know, in life insurance, you have certain KPIs you need to hit, right? And this is another law that I'll kind of give, is kind of a bonus law here. This is something I've just been implementing. But you need to have conviction in what you sell, right? It's not just your skill in sales that's going to help you get to the next level, but it's you actually believing in that product or service, right? I think my coaching is the best, right? You can argue with that. You can have your own opinion, but I truly believe that I am the best real estate coach on earth, not because I'm actually there yet in numbers and clients and results, but it's because I'm working on this every single day. And that's my conviction, right? So if you're in sales, you need to have that conviction. You can't just believe that your skills are good enough. You have to have both your skills plus your product. So that's a little bit of bonus law there. Next law number 5 in making money in your DMs is going to be have an open mind, right? You need to be willing to take in new info and apply that and have an open mind when you're making money in the DMs. Hey, Tatiana, welcome to the chat. We got McKilly, welcome to the chat. Gurang is there as well. Hiron as well. Welcome to the chat. And then congratulations, Tatiana, to getting married. That was awesome. I loved seeing that with you and Alex there. Anyway, have an open mind when learning these DM strategies. Welcome, Justin. And any kind of strategies that you need to take in info, take in that input so you can increase your output, right? The people that I find that get stuck, and this has happened to me in the past as well, is people that aren't open-minded, right? Like if you're immediately like, oh, I don't want to learn this, right? And I got a lot of this when I wrote my book, How to Never Be Broke Again. People are like, oh, I don't need that. And it's funny because everyone that said, I don't need that How to Never Be Broke Again book needs it the most, right? I have like millionaires that read my How to Never Be Broke Again book and they're like, oh, it's so simple, but like sometimes I forget this too. So you'll see like high performers, they're always have an open mind and then they filter after, right? Like again, I surround myself with people that are doing way better than me. And because I know they're doing better than me, whether that's in my fitness, my health, my wealth, my relationships, my passions, if they're giving me knowledge, I just shut up and I just listen, right? Like, why does my opinion matter at that point? Now, once I've implemented what I've learned, I've had an open mind, then I've tried it, then I can be like, hey, some of this works for me, some of this doesn't. Okay. And then I can filter out and be a critical thinker, right? Sixth and final law when it comes to making money in the DMs, before I go into the framework on how exactly you're going to get more clients for your business. If you don't have a product or service, again, stay till the end. I'm going to give you an opportunity so that you can actually implement what I teach here, even if you don't have a product or service, okay? But the sixth law is you want a 3-year mindset. I say 3 to 5 years, 3 years minimum, 5 years maximum. Have that mindset in the sense that you want to go fast, but also learn that this is going to take some time, okay? You want to look at this as a journey of self-improvement over 3 years to 5 years, okay? Once I show you this framework, you're going to be like, hey, this is awesome. I can use this right away. But you might not get results the first week. You might not get results the first month. But if you keep practicing, you keep learning, and keep getting better, over 3 years, I can promise you, if you're consistent and you stay on top of this, you will increase your income, you will increase your net worth, and you will be closing sales and clients in your DMs, okay? So again, quickly recap, 6 first laws of making money in the DMs. First one is you got to become a master conversationalist in the DMs and in person. Here we're focusing on DMs. 2, speed of implementation is key. The quicker you can learn something and implement it, the quicker you can get results, and the quicker you can actually fail forward, meaning you extract the lesson and then get better. Number 3 is continual positive improvement, okay? You got to be able to learn and get better after each iteration. You just get better every single time, right? What's the lesson? How do you get better? Number 4, you need to know your KPIs, your key performance indicators. If you don't have data in your business, if you don't have data, what are you tracking? How many people are you talking to a day in the DMs? How many people in these DMs are actually responding? Of those people that respond, how many are clicking the link that you're sending them, which is essentially a payment link or a sales link? And then how many of those people are actually you selling every single day, okay? Once you learn how much you go from DM to sale, you can reverse engineer it. Right now, I'm about 28% close rate, which means, hey, if I contact 100 people, probably going to close 28 of those people in something, right? Now I run a couple programs, but essentially on average, I'm getting about 28% close rate. Even in the holidays, which is pretty awesome. Next one is going to be have an open mind. You need to be able to take info in, extract that info, not necessarily put your opinion just yet, try it, and then go and take action on that. Okay, have an open mind. And then finally, have a 3 to 5 year mindset. Okay, you need to understand that this is going to take time. Any endeavor you start, it's going to take a little bit of time, 3 to 5 years. So before I jump into the framework, thanks to everyone who's jumped in so far. Again, people at home, people watching this or people on the replay, put your comments in the comment section. Any questions in the comment section, I will get back. And if I don't make a video right away, if I don't respond right away, I'll make a future video and I will answer all of those. The goal here is to help you guys, right? You talked about goals and touched on KPIs. Any suggestions how to align goals for the year closer to KPIs to orient goals towards growth? That's an awesome question. Okay, so something here is first you pick your goals, right? I would use SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, actionable or attainable, reasonable, and then timely, right? So those are SMART goals. You can look more into that. But essentially, once you pick your goals, then you want to think about what actions do I need to do to get that result? And this is what I call process-oriented goal setting, okay? Basically, what you want to do is once you have that goal, think about, I'd say 3 to 5 actions that you can take that will get you there, and then break that down to KPIs. Example, let's say I want to make 2 million a year next year, okay? And I'm selling, you just call it $20,000 product. Okay, this is just simple numbers for me to help you guys. So I don't have my calculator here, but I think so 10 of those sales is 200 grand, another 10, so 100 essentially is 2 million. So I need to sell 100 people. Now, how many conversations do I need to have so I can actually close 100 people? Well, I know my KPI is a 20% close rate, so I can reverse engineer from there. Essentially, what you want to do is take your actions, the actionable steps, and turn those into KPIs. If your goal is to close more sales, you got to have more conversations. Of those conversations, you got to get better at sales. So how much you got to track, hey, what's my actual close rate once I get to a call with them? Or maybe your goal, some people want to just grow their Instagram so they can have a product later on. Well, you got to have maybe how much reels or content are you putting out every single week? Of those reels and content, how many people are you getting into a conversation with? And again, breaking it down from there. Hope that helps a little bit. If not, I'll add more to that later. Gibbs says, love your cadence, man. Super easy to pick up, which we're putting down. Awesome. Hey, I was a teacher for about 5 years, so I do my best, and this allows me to scratch my teaching itch. And of course, like any pro teacher, I got my lesson plan here. So glad this is helping. Hope everyone is taking notes. We're going to jump into the framework of how you can actually make sales in the DMs. That first part was just overarching laws that you want to focus on. Now we're going to go into the nitty gritty. Okay. So essentially, first part is you need to essentially find out their situation, right? So now we're assuming you're in the DM, right? You say, hey, how's it going? Maybe someone reaches out to you. There's going to be a difference between cold messaging someone and then warm messaging. Essentially, cold is just a random DM. Warm is where you're actually, you had a call to action. Okay, so before I even go into the 6 steps of how you can actually close more on DMs, first we're going to have to talk about the importance of call to actions, right? So a call to action is where you get someone to DM, you get someone to comment, you get someone to take some form of action so they're interested. For us on Instagram, it's getting other people to DM. So what I'll do is I'll put in, some results, whether it's a testimony, maybe I'll make a video on some value that I'm giving to my viewers. And a lot of people are interested in real estate. So I'll talk about, hey, how I close a deal or how I do some marketing. Once I put out that reel or that piece of content, I'll put that on my story. And then the next story, and you guys will see me do this, right? I'll put, hey, are you interested in getting real estate? Or are you interested in getting X service or X product? If so, I'm looking for 3 to 5 people, 4 to 6 people, however people you're actually looking for. Okay. And then send me a DM with maybe a keyword or say, hey, I'm interested, or put a fire emoji on this post. Anyway, I'm asking them to do something. I'm calling them into action. Okay. Once they have that call to action, then I'm going to reply and DM them, right? So once they're in my DMs, that's me getting warm leads. What I want to do is, and this is the first part of making money in the DMs, is once they're in my DMs, I'm going to confirm their situation, right? All business is solving a problem. Ilya, one of my high performance students and good friends, he puts this in great words that like, hey, business is just solving other people's problems. But how can we solve people's problems if you don't know what the problem is? So that's where I'll ask, hey, what's your current situation? Right. So I sell financial abundance coaching and real estate coaching. So I'll ask, like, hey, like, what's your current situation with your financial literacy? Right. That's going to allow me to figure out what is their problems, what are their pain points. Okay. Situation and problem is similar enough. Now we're just not straight up asking for their problems, but we're asking, okay, what's the situation? Right. You are paid in proportion to how much problems you can solve. So by figuring out what their problem is, that's going to actually help us figure out if we can actually help. Okay. The last thing you want to do is like, scam people and like not actually help them. So if you can't help, then point them to the right direction. Right. That goes far. And that's where your networking comes into play. I'll talk about that later on with the networking piece. But if I can't help someone, like someone asked the Airbnb question earlier in this live stream, I just said, hey, like I'm not a pro Airbnb guy. Contact Samantha. She's where my go-to Airbnb person is, right? Now, once you've asked their situation, you want to do what's called bar talk. Okay. So bar talk is essentially, you don't want to just, if they tell you their situation, you're like, oh yeah, like I'm struggling with my income. I don't really have a budget and I'm struggling with debt. Instead of just reiterating what they say, where you're like, okay, it sounds like, struggling a little bit with your debt, you want to increase your income. And of course, hey, let's give you a plan for budgeting. Does that sound about right? That's level one of doing that. Level two is you want to add some bar talk. So that just means you shoot the shit is what we call it. You add a little bit of other content in there and build rapport, right? Like be a human. Again, law number one is improve your conversation, become a master conversationalist. So sometimes I'll talk about, yeah, like I remember not having a budget. Maybe I'll tell a little story. And then once you add a little bit of that bar talk, now if you're not good at this, like legit go to a bar and just chat up the bartender. Watch how they're able to just continually talk and take what you're saying, reiterate a little bit, add their own stories, and then continue talking and keeping a conversation, right? That's what you want to get good at. Now, once you've done that, you figure out their situation, you've reiterated to them, you've done a little bar talking. Next question. And that's going to be, okay, so what are your goals? And now they're going to tell you what their goals are. You want to find out what the gap between where their situation is and where their goals are. Again, if you have the situation, the solution, the product or service that's going to help them reach their goals, awesome, continue. If you don't, be honest, right? Be the middleman that connects them to someone else. Whether you get paid for that or not, that goes very far. And it just shows that you don't have to be so transactional, right? The key here, and another one of the laws kind of overarching is going to be, this is like a meta law, I call it, is you always want to be in abundance, right? If you're in abundance, that means, hey, your cup is full. You're just here to help, right? If you can't help, that's all good. Point them to someone who can. But by asking what their goals are, now we can kind of, again, figure out where they're trying to go. And then what you'll do is reiterate more bar talk. Hey, thanks for joining, man. I'll see you later. Appreciate it. Good luck on the Airbnb. Now, again, more bar talk. Next is going to be asking, okay, what do you think is missing to help you get to that goal? Most people have a general idea of what they're missing to get them to the next level. Maybe they just haven't had someone to listen that genuinely actually cares about their issues, right? And actually just sit down and give them a moment to think about that. So while I ask, okay, what do you think is missing to help you reach those goals? That's where I'm going to start taking notes, right? I want to know, okay, this is what they're missing. Can I help with that? Again, I reiterate it. I'll tell them in my words, okay, does it sound like, okay, this is what you're kind of missing? Cool. Here you can do a little bit more bar talk, but after the first three parts, you don't have to do so much bar talk because at that point, like you built a little bit of rapport with this person. Now we jump into, okay, what do you think you need? Okay. These are just missing, and what you need is similar, but different enough that you can get more info. The whole idea here, especially if you're selling in the DMs, selling anywhere, is you want to be almost talking less than the other person. It's not about you. It's about them helping them reach their goals, right? So ask, what do you think you need? I'll reiterate that. You see the key here is always reiterating what they say. Again, it's just confirming, do you actually understand what the other person is saying, right? Then I'll jump into, okay, awesome. There's a certain commitment level to this, right? Whether it's a product or a service, is this actually a priority for you is what I'll ask, okay? Now, if it is, awesome. If not, we might have to start asking why, okay? Or tell me more, or pull some threads, right? This is another key thing with being a master conversationalist is how you can thread different topics in and pull other threads to get more information, right? So by asking, is this a priority for you? They say, yeah, awesome, go to the next one. If they say it's not a priority, then find out, okay, why? What are your other goals? What's stopping you from making this a priority? Hey, Andoni, hey, Pratik, welcome to the chat. We're doing the 6 steps on how to essentially make money in the DMs. Now, if you have done that question, you've gone through that, you asked if it's a priority, awesome. Now we're going to go to, okay, do you want my help with this? Or do you want help with this? At that point, if they say yes, that's when you'll send them the link. Usually it's an info link. You don't want to send a payment link just right away. You want that info link to the product or service that you're selling. Sorry, got a little bit of a sore throat here. But once you send that link, then they can start learning more about their product or service, right? I send a video just because like I make these videos. It's how I like to sell. I'm better at making videos than typing out, writing copy. That's just me. If you're working with someone else, right, you might have to send their link. And then I'll send their like, hey, watch that video, look at this link. If you have questions, come back here. Or if you're ready to sign up and jump in, transform, let me know. Just let me know back here and tell me that I'm in. Tell me that you're in, right? They'll watch that, they'll come back. This is where follow-up is key. Some people, you'll actually lose them once you send that link. Life happens, right? Someone might get a phone call, someone's kid might wake up from a nap, start crying, someone might have to like go back, cook, make some dishes. Don't be afraid to follow up. The money's in the follow-up. Then finally, they say, awesome, I'm in, send them a payment link, and then you've actually just closed your first sale in the DMs. Anjinder, welcome. Gurav, welcome. Okay, Lara's joined. Awesome. Welcome to the chat. Sweet. So those are the 6 steps. Just to recap again. First one is you got to have some call to action to get them in your DM in the first place, unless you're cold DMing people. Then you got to figure out what's their situation that they need help with, right? Probably it's going to be linked to the product or service that you actually offer. Once you ask what their situation is, then you ask, hey, what are their goals based on that situation? What are their goals in the next 6 to 10 to 12 months? Once you ask those goals, then you ask, hey, what do you think is missing? What do you think you actually need? Is this a priority for you? Do you want my help with this? Send links, get payment. Oh, I was going to sneeze there. Didn't happen. Cool. So those are 6 steps there. If you guys have questions on anything linked to making money in the DMs or even some personal development stuff, put them in below.